All right, and there we have them again. On the bottom, you have Michael Dürr, and on top, you have Danique de Jong. And you can already see the one deck name is standing out, and this is Madolche in the hands of Danique de Jong, who won the die roll. And we were wondering, is he actually going to go first or second? Because the deck has applications for both, but he decided to go first here.
Yeah, it looks like an OTK-ish deck, even though there is a Pot of Prosperity. That could have been a hint for us, by the way.
True, true, indeed, indeed. But still, so many going second cards still. But I mean, obviously, it's great in nowadays Yu-Gi-Oh! To have a lot of cards in your main deck, which could work for you as well in the going second scenario. So definitely a wise decision by him to even include some of these as well. And also, another surprise. Oh, there's the Dimension Shifter.
Again, another rogue deck that heavily profits from the Dimension Shifter. And as you can see, also Dimensional Fissure. So these Dimension cards going strong. But those are not the starter cards that you want to see.
This is interesting. I mean, there's basically only one starter he revealed, and that is Madolche Angeli, which he's taking immediately. That is the card he decided on. Of course, you're not going to take one of the two Madolche Promenades, because you have cards to search out for the Promenades, so you definitely don't want to just get it off of Prosperity. So he grabs the Angeli, and we see, I think, that he also has another Hoot Cake in hand there.
Yeah, Hoot Cake, a great card that has to banish a monster from the GY, which can be Dimension Shifter, I think, to special summon out a Madolche monster from the deck.
Yes, yes, that's indeed what he's doing. And ooh, did you see that one card that Michael holds in his hand? That is a card that is not super popular this weekend. I don't even think
But it rocks.
Yep, it rocks, absolutely. And it might be a pretty harsh ending to the cake party that is about to happen on the side of Danique. He's really getting all those sweets onto the table, and he's already going through the Angeli, and now there's the Messenger Gelato onto the field as well.
And this is bad news for Michael. However, his Big Rock can still maybe eat up all of the cards on Danique's table. Okay, we are going to stop those food funds now.
But honestly, have you seen resolving a single Nibiru this weekend? I think Nibiru wasn't popular at all. But was it in one of our featured matches?
No. Yeah, it was used really early versus 6 Samurais.
Oh, yes,
the
I remember
FTK
that
still
one as well.
happened.
Yeah, true. And Danique is still not finished, of course. Oh, looks like he may be finished there. He's setting 2 cards and he passes it over, because maybe Michael was actively counting summons there and he didn't want to commit into another summon and therefore played maybe around the Nibiru that is obviously in the hand of Michael there.
Imagine counting these summons out loud. Was that one number 3? Number 3? Okay, noting it down.
Are we on 5 summons already? No, and Danique didn't commit into 5 summons at all. And so we ended, like, this is a pretty weird end board, honestly. He just ended on 3 Madolche monsters and 2 back row cards. And he's not supposed to have Madolche Promenade in his hand, right? Or among those set cards, because he revealed 2 of them of Pot of Prosperity.
Yeah, but he used Messenger Gelato.
And did he get one of those out?
I don't think so.
Yeah, but I don't think so either. So we are resolving Prosperity. He's not taking one of the 2 Ash Blossoms he's revealing. And we haven't talked about his deck yet, because Michael actually made a pretty interesting choice that a lot of people have not agreed on for this weekend, because everybody we've seen so far that was playing Sprite cards actually was mixing them, putting them together with Runic cards. But Michael was like, no, the Adventure engine is still pretty insane, so I'm just going to pair up Adventure and Sprite, making it Adventure Sprite, and he's doing very well with it in this tournament, and he's still only with 1 loss so far, so this is definitely a sign maybe that this version of the deck is still great. And look, I think we are going to see the Zeus play right there, and Danique doesn't like it.
Probably trying to nuke the whole board through Promenade even. It would negate the effect of Zeus, but you can obviously chain Zeus to it.
Yep, so we are running over the Hoot Cake with the Sky Scanturia. And is there a response from Danique? He's thinking heavily about it, but it doesn't look like he has a response. Oh, he's considering the 1 back row heavily, but yep, he's resolving. Oh, the attack is happening, and the Hoot Cake is gone. And
because
Michael,
of Dimension Shifter, it does not get shuffled back into the deck, it just gets banished.
Yep, Michael is there with the Zeus now.
This is the first
Ultimate
Zeus we have
Zeus
seen on stream so far.
It's met by Impermanence, of course. I think we're chaining again. Oh, Michael is not even that sure. Maybe he wants to hold the second Zeus effect for the next turn or something.
That actually would be... wouldn't see a reason why, because then he can't really set up anything else. So this is the promenade.
But where is he promenade indeed? So,
but I mean, we got the 2 negations out, and
still we have to deal with the permanent effect of dimension shifters. So we cannot really do our normal shenanigans, because this is a deck. This is a version of the deck, of the Sprite deck, that is still playing the Frog engine. He's still playing Swap Frog, and he's also, of course, still playing the Totally Awesome. So he just found another way to actually summon it consistently, because normally you would go Swap Frog plus Ronin Toadin, and nowadays you just go Swap Frog plus another Swap Frog you're summoning back of Elf, and then you have the Totally Awesome anyways. But let's see whether he's going to be able to pull that off here. He has Sprite started to start things off, and he made sure to not activate it into an Imperm column, which is really good for him, of course. So he pays attention here.
Bright Blue is being summoned for the gazillionth time this weekend. What a great card.
Indeed it is. And we've seen Sprite players actually side-decking the Dimension Shifter as well. And therefore, we know that this card is not as crazy versus this deck as it maybe is versus Telements. So definitely not the hardest card you get here.
So I'm really curious as to what he's going to bring out. Because of Dimension Shifter, there is no way that he ends on an Elf here, because it would just not make sense. He's probably just going to search for a red and special summon the red next to it, so he has a possible interaction with his opponent. He might also search for a jet for the next turn. However, he already banished 2 of the jets, so he has to actually pay attention to his resources here.
Yeah, and he really takes that decision seriously there. You could see he put back his deck onto the table and was really thinking again, what is the best route we can take here?
Oh, he's considering Pixies, I think.
Oh, is he playing Pixies? Yes! We talked about Pixies in the last featured match, and he's going with Carrot, though. We had that discussion early on as well. Carrot seems to be the more popular choice today, and people are summoning it over red most of the time.
So he's going into a rank 2. He hasn't used Gigantic this turn, so this kind of makes sense. He can actually just summon Gigantic, activate the effect, and then we can see where he goes from this. Because I don't really see... Is he playing Hyperia or something? He should be playing it, right?
No, he doesn't play Hyperia.
Okay.
He does not. So he just goes red, so he wants to basically end on Gigantic plus red, which is the same than... Oh, it's actually even better than blue plus red, so I definitely understand the route he took there. I think it would have also been kind of okay to just go Jet plus Smashers, maybe, just having the one interruption.
Jet already.
Okay, yeah, you're right, true. So let's see whether that will be enough for Michael. He was able to break the board. That wasn't that strong, though, of Danique, which only consisted of in-engine monsters of the Madolche archetype and also in the Permanence and the Salon. Oh, no, it wasn't even Salon, right? Oh, it was Salon, the trap, yeah.
No, he is
No, Promenade. Now I have it.
But I knew you were going to get there eventually.
Yeah, but one cool thing for Danique is that he does not have cards in his graveyard.
Yeah. And he is probably special summoning Petting Scissor. I'm going to get it up for you.
Yeah, I mean, this card relies on having no monsters in your graveyard, and therefore you can just special summon it out right there. Danique is smiling while his opponent is rereading the card, and this card is not just special summoning itself, but it can snowball into another monster. So we can see why this deck has OTK potential a lot of the time.
Yeah. I think we know that Michael has Nibiru in hand, so this is an option for him. He can just let everything go through until there is a point in which Danique threatens to set up a negation, an Omni-negate, or in which he will OTK him and then drop the Nibiru. But he could also try to interrupt the turn immediately, because negating this and destroying this is pretty strong.
I do agree. And he, again, really takes his time, his sweet time to think about that decision. I think Michael is really eager to just do perfect decisions, and I think so far I haven't seen a single mistake of him so far. So he really seems to optimize the deck, the play style of the deck seems to really fit him, and he really is making all the perfect choices. And that's why he's here in our feature match now.
Oh, and he actually decides to let this Petting Scissor go off, and he is summoning the Pudding Sis.
Yep, Pudding Sis is a level 5 monster, but being summoned by the effect of Petting Scissor, it is reduced by 1 level, so he actually has 3 level 4 monsters on board now. So he would be able to go into rank 4 plays as well, and of course there's one very, very popular, like the oldest one as well, and that is Madolche Queen Tiramisu.
Which would not be too good right now, because he has no Madolche cards in the GY, so he couldn't even activate the effect to detach for a cost. He needs one card at least in the GY, so he can activate the Tiramisu effect.
Yep,
so
he
just
just
goes
got
into the
battle
phase.
phase.
Not even a Zeus play.
Straight into battle phase. Ooh, he activates the effect of Zeus to attach something, but there is the effect of Puddingsis being activated as well.
Puddingsis just shuffles itself into the back into the deck after attacking over a monster.
Yeah, but you can also destroy one card on the
not.
opponent's side of the field.
That's what I misread something.
Yeah. So what are we? We are actually going after the back row. I think Michael didn't even realize
sense.
that effect was there. Oh, and look! Oh, he's getting the.
Wait, no, I think the red is destroyed.
Yes, I'm quite sure. The red has to be destroyed. I mean, how would the red not be destroyed? Or is he putting says on attack declaration?
Pudding
No,
says
after damage calculation it is.
yeah, but Pudding says
But wait,
can't beat
Pudding
over
says
red.
is Pudding says it's only 1,000 attack points, so it could not
gets
really even
boosted,
run
but
over
only
it.
by 800 and the chateau, so it's 2,300. So never mind that.
Yeah, I think they're figuring it out now as well. Danique not even sure himself how big his own monster is right there, but now we are explaining it, and they are trying to figure it out. But it should be big enough. Yeah, it should definitely be big enough.
Okay, so a card is destroyed.
The Imperm gets popped.
Imperm was activated. Okay, yeah. And now the Zeus activates and attaches a Pot of Prosperity. So no cards that he wants to have in his GY at some point that are valuable resources for him there. He just does not want to activate any further Pot of Prosperities, which makes sense to me.
I honestly am kind of surprised by that, because he is running Water Enchantress of the Temple, which would be a pretty good card to have in your graveyard, honestly.
Fair enough.
I would have assumed to actually attach this card right there, but he rather doesn't want to have another of the Prosperities. And I think...
100%. I agree with you. He should have attached the Enchantress.
And there we have the first Exceed summon, and it's not the Tiramisu I was talking about, and it is rather the Glasslouffé.
Glasslouffé.
Or Glassoufflé, rather. And it's not there for a long time, because he immediately puts the Chocolat à Mode over it. And this is instantly extending again, because Chocolat à Mode can just special summon out one more Madolche monster from the deck. And that's what's happening here.
Is attached to it.
Indeed, indeed.
And now you can summon the Angeli. What a delicious play.
Yeah. Honestly, it looked like Michael pretty much broke the whole board and was really putting Danique into a really weird spot. But now again, it looks better for Danique again. But we cannot forget about the Nibiru. It's still in the hand of Michael, to be honest.
Yeah, and to be fair, the board that Michael put out through 2 set cards and Dimensional Shifter couldn't be too huge.
Yeah, true. He was hindered there from the beginning, for sure. It looks like he even has double Nibiru, right?
Yeah.
It seemed... Yeah, he definitely has double Nibiru there.
So Hootcake hits the field and is absolutely ready to rumble.
Michael is really considering to drop the Nibiru here, and I could understand why, because there is the potential of a special summoned monster now, which just immediately activates its effect on summon.
Like Messengelado.
For example. But there's already Messengelado on the field. But it could be another one.
Oh, he is playing the coolest one of the Madolches, the absolute OG.
Yep, Madolche, Magdalene.
Which does not search. Oh, I did not show it to you. This does only search when it's normal summoned. However, it is still a really cool card, and I'm glad.
He just wanted another level 4 monster to go into another XYZ play, and this will going to end up in... What are we going to go into?
Tiara.
Oh, now it is Tiramisu.
Now the Tiara, and there is the Glassoufflé in the GY, so he can actually... Oh no, it does not. So he can't activate it, right? Let me just get it up real quick again. There are so
He's just
many
giving him another
Tiaras.
Another Tiramisu. He's running 2 copies of it, so there was a spare one is in his extra deck.
He has to target up to 2 Madolche cards in the GY to shuffle them back, and as long as there are none, he can't detach for cost.
All right, so Michael really has to figure out a time where he's dropping the Nibiru, and he still doesn't want to, and it looks like we're going to have a Link 2 summon, and that's probably going to be Madolche Fresh Sistar, I would assume.
it could be the case. I mean, there are no other Link monsters in the extra deck anymore. And yeah, now there are cards in the GY. So now he actually waits. He waits until the Zeus gets shuffled back to the extra deck.
Yep.
If that is the case.
So the Nibiru token actually is smaller, so
And
he can
has
actually
Zeus.
run over it, and he will have Zeus again, you're right. He's bouncing with a Zeus, and he's happy about it, I would say.
This is kind of evil, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
imagine
It's
now
not
having
evil, but
Water
he's-
Enchantress in the graveyard. That
Yeah.
would be so huge for Michael.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think Michael is kind of laughing alone to himself. And saying, ha, ha. However, his hand is not too big. He has nothing.
Yeah, he
Right.
really needs to top deck into something, because that Nibiru, of course, is going to wipe out the whole field of Danique, but then you're facing a super big Nibiru token, which you cannot even out with your own Nibiru, so that's not too great for him.
Even though Danique is in front and the top decks of Michael aren't, or he can have good top decks, but the hand is not too good, the resources in the extra deck are getting lower and lower. He's at, I think, 5 cards in the extra deck, and if there are 2 Nibirus after another, then he might actually just be able to grind out Danique.
Yeah, for sure. And Danique now actually normal summons the Madolche Angeli, which he added with Prosperity, I think, in turn number 1. So he finally gets to use this, and he's looking out for a card that he could summon there. And he's not even sure himself, but he decides on... Oh, he goes for the
Another
Mageline again, but that again does not trigger on special summon.
Nope.
So I'm kind of curious why he's summoning it again, just for the second time, just using it for a Link summon or something. And there's the end of main phase Nibiru we've been thinking of for so long. And it's now resolving. It's going to give Danique a pretty big token. But is it even that big in terms of defense points is the question here.
No, Sistart has no defense points, of
Indeed.
course.
Mageline has 1,200. And then we only have to think about the Tiramisu,
Yeah,
right?
Tiramisu has 2,100, so it can't be
Oh, it
outed
is
by a Nibiru
big
attack, which
enough.
is huge.
It is big enough to actually withstand the attack of a Nibiru. He's even putting it in attack position. Okay, that's aggressive.
Yeah, I mean... Oh, that was... The battle phase is already over, right?
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Then it makes sense, so he has the option to crash the token if he wants to. And there is Foolish Burial. He had this in the hand for the last turn already, but he couldn't use it because of the Dimension Shifter.
True.
So this is something we kind of forgot about, gotta be honest there. So the Water Enchantress is of course great in the GY now, and we know that Danique does not have any interactions in hand. So this full adventure combo will put down 7,000 damage at least because of the Nibiru on the field, and it will absolutely out the token. So there has to, like, is there a way for him to get like 1,000 more damage on board?
I mean, he just needs some kind of monster. He just needs Swap Frog. He just needs another Sprite monster or something. There's definitely a couple of ways. There comes the Fateful Adventure, and of course the token as well. And we are going to see him searching for Dracoback and also, of course, for the Griffin Rider. And that Griffin Rider also makes it a lot tougher for Danique then to come back into the game, because there is a negate ready for Michael then later on.
Okay, let's get these official tokens
Oh yes,
out.
those look dope.
YCS.
As this is a YCS, of course.
So is there a way to even trigger the Fateful Adventure? I don't know if you said this already. I was focusing on something.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, you can just activate the Surge effect first and then afterwards trigger it on the summon of... Oh, but he's definitely not going to
so
end
he's
this
not
game right
auto-game.
now, because he's using Prosperity here. What is he going to find? He definitely needs to look out for Sprite cards here. Oh, he hits the Swap Frog, which could be huge.
He actually he even attached a Pot of Prosperity to the Zeus so he doesn't draw it, instead of using the Water Enchantress, because he had the Foolish Burial.
And he still drew it.
Drew the last one.
He still managed to draw the last copy of it. And what is he at here? We couldn't really tell because it was even out of our picture there. But oh yeah, it looks like it's the Sprite Jet. And Sprite Jet is being normal summoned here to the field, right? Because
Yeah. And
how would
now
you
we can
special it?
trigger the Fateful Adventure
Oh, yes,
at
yes.
the Dracoback and now search for either Illegal Knight or the Griffin Rider. And
he's
I can
only
see Griffin Rider?
Yes, he is only
Okay.
on Griffin Rider indeed. And now you even have access to Sprite Elf again, of course, which gives you access to Sprite Blue then again. So this is pretty huge, and this might even be the way to actually get to more than enough damage. But we still have to think about the Pot of Prosperity, of course. So this turn it will
Absolutely.
probably be tough. still having the resource of Sprite Elf again is definitely huge. So getting into any Sprite card there was definitely helpful for Michael, for sure.
But I think you still want to attack first. Okay, you don't.
I mean, you can't get over the token yet anyways. I mean, you have the bounce,
it.
of course. Yeah, you're right, you're right. So there is the Sprite Elf reborning the Sprite Jet. Sprite Jet is searching for the Sprite Starter. And it's looking pretty good now for Michael. Okay, we are going into Gigantic as well. I'm a little bit... I think he's setting up game here. I'm a little afraid he's setting up game there, which he doesn't have because of Pot of Prosperity. But let's see, let's see. He's... Oh, is he summoning out Pixies? He was looking for Pixies. He put Pixies on the bottom of his deck already, but then is reconsidering his options again and maybe realizes himself that actually he's missing game because of the Pot of Prosperity he was using there. And look, there's the Pixies at the bottom of the deck, but he is rather going for Swap Frog. He decided again, and
he can't really do anything really useful with Swap Frog, right? You can send another swap from the deck to the GY, that's fine, but you have used the Reborn effect of Elf already.
Yeah, there's not going to be a totally awesome at the end of this turn, I'm pretty sure. There would just be no way. And yeah, we are dumping the Swap Frog into the graveyard.
Still nice to see you, old friend.
Of course, of course. And yeah, I mean, Danique, again, he doesn't have that many cards left in his extra deck, but we gotta say he is pretty much maxing out on all the stuff. He's running double, or not maxing out, but he's playing multiple copies. He's playing double Tiramisu, he's playing triple Glace Soufflé, he's playing triple Chocolate Amot, so definitely more resources left in his extra deck. So when he gets, if he gets another turn, then there's potential for him, for sure.
Absolutely. So I think Pixies just adds damage to an attack over a monster. That's just the honest effect. So why would you not just bounce the token here instead?
Is he really not bouncing the token? It looks like it, right?
He attacked over it and used Pixie.
Ooh, interesting enough.
This is really interesting.
I mean, this honestly looks like he just wants to go for game, but...
I mean, it would have been the same damage.
You're right, yeah, true, you're right. You're absolutely right.
So this is 1,000, this is 1,000, and this is 1,600. I can see what they are noting down, and it is the halved damage.
Yeah, they are aware that it's half damage pretty surely.
But why would you discard the Pixies?
Oh, and look, Michael is shaking his head. I think he had a route for game here in mind, and he just forgot about the Prosperity before the battle phase. I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Maybe he just remembered the Adventurer Equip spell, the Draco Bag.
Oh, that must also be something that's not out of the question. And looks like, yeah, we're going for another Sprite Elf.
Can't be used this turn, however, it can be used the next turn. Maybe a little bit of a positioning mistake here. Could have summoned the Griffin Rider to the left side and protected with Elf.
Yeah, and Danique is going to get another turn, and as we said, he has 3 cards in hand, so maybe we see another
card.
Oh, that's not the greatest.
That's really not what you want to see when you're trying to break board of your opponent.
Yeah, but I can see him pushing back one more time here. It's going back and forth here in this game 1 of round number 9. Late in the evening here, Saturday evening, YCS Utrecht 2022, but both duelists still fighting hard here for their X1 score into day 2.
So Madolche Chateau still face up on the field. The next card is probably a normal summon of Hootcake, but we don't know that for sure.
He almost had it on the field already, but there it is now finally.
So, shoo-hoo! Hootcake hits the field.
And now Michael is looking through his graveyard, thinking whether there is a Link or XYZ monster he could reborn, because now he has the option again with a monster being on the opponent's side of the field, but he decides for red anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I think red makes sense.
Certainly does, because now you have a monster effect for the one monster that is there, and you also have a universal negate with the Griffin Rider being on the field as well.
So, and the Hootcake can immediately attack over the Elf.
Which is not crazily important right now, though.
No, I think it would have been more important to attack over the red, I guess. So you take out one more negate. But I mean, okay, red contributes the Gigantic Sprite.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't really do anything right there. Like, running over the Elf there didn't take any threats away.
Because if you don't out the spot this turn, you still lose.
That's what I'm thinking, for sure.
Yeah.
That's what I'm definitely thinking too.
This is Danique's last chance to grab this game 1 for himself. But honestly, Michael's board looks really threatening at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, this is the one thing that the Adventure Engine is really adding to the deck. You actually are ending on a negate, and Runic Sprite is struggling with that. They are not putting up any negates, but this deck actually has a negate, so it's also not losing as hard versus cards such as Evenly Matched or something. And right here, he just has that one negate he can hold on to, so every card that Danique is about to play out is probably going to get negated anyways.
Danique could actually scoop this up to save some more time, because they have been taking their time with this one. It's 19 minutes left, and now he can just start the turn with using Draco back on the set card to see what's coming his way. Promenade would probably be Chain, but you can still negate that with Griffin Rider and immediately summon Griffin Rider out. So he pointed at his Draco back card, and he points at the set card. So this is exactly what is happening. Promenade will be Chain, and I think you just take back the Griffin Rider.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it negates a card. You don't even care about it that much.
Yeah,
you don't even have to negate it.
Don't you still have game on board?
Yeah.
Just simply that. You can still just go for it right here, right now. And it's interesting, as you say, that Danique still hasn't picked up his cards, and he still is seeing a chance maybe here to take this one down. And Michael really analytically just proceeding to play here, really thinking about every single move, really taking his time, really grinding through this, and so far successfully grinding through all the Madolche cards that were thrown into his direction by Danique.
Just resetting the game state, ditching the Nibiru after negating the Promenade. And now he's attacking with Gigantic Sprite, and this has to be the scoop up. So, yeah, this is game 1. Michael wins game 1. He took this deck down. 2 set cards in the first turn, 3 monsters, non-threatening to him. He summoned Zeus, wiped the entire board, and then ended up setting up his own board through Dimension Shifter, and he did not care at all.
That's true. So we are going to see, sorry for that, another scenario of where you don't really know how side decking is going to be, because the Madolche deck still could potentially go second here in this game number 2, because it is very much known for that. And, I mean, he went first by choice in game 1, but you don't really know whether that's going to happen again, because this deck can basically switch back and forth between going first and second, and that's always a struggle when you have to side deck versus this deck, basically.
Yeah, it's really annoying when you are sitting on the opponent's side of the table,
Yeah.
opposing side of the table.
Definitely.
So why don't we just go and take a look at these side decks?
Yeah, there's one card already shining at me, because we were talking about it already in the side deck of Michael. We see that he's side decking the Illegal Knight, so he decided not to main deck it, the other part of the Monster Adventure Engine. And I think going second, this card shines even more. I think every single time, if I have to decide between those 2 cards going second, I will always go with the Illegal Knight, because it just plays through boards so much better.
It breaks boards easily and can be added to the hand back with Draco back.
Yes.
It is crazy. It's probably a side deck card versus T-Elements, because it really beats T-Element boards.
Yeah, but it also beats back row boards. It's just really playing through whatever board. Yeah, this card is really universal. So I honestly am such a big fan of it that I would probably even play it rather than the Griffin Rider, honestly. It seems so good to me.
I think you should play both. I would play
Maybe
both.
even that, yeah. They're definitely both great options. But let's see what's there as well. He's side decking the Dimension Shifters.
Yeah,
as he saw the Dimension Shifter on his opponent's side of the field, or rather in his graveyard. I don't think we're going to see them as well, true. He's another one of the players side decking Cosmic Cyclones. This is not really the greatest side in as well. I mean, you could just hit a random back row, hope that it's Promenade.
First?
When you're going
oh, no, wait.
He's not going first, though.
Michael.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he's going first, but he doesn't really know. So
I think I would actually side it.
Yeah?
I mean, you have seen that he's searching for Promenade. It was basically the only interruption that his opponent set up during his combo.
I mean,
so
I guess.
Also, you don't know what's coming your way. Many people side Floodgates going first.
Well, let's have a look.
You have seen Dimensional Fissure as well.
There is actually not really Floodgate. I mean, there is somewhat of a Floodgates spell card, such a field spell card, which is Secret Village of Spellcasters, but is that really...
Cosmic Cyclone is not the answer to that you want to have.
This. And he actually has a cool way to get to the Secret Village of Spellcasters, even because there is a Madolche Butler Rask, which can search out actually any field spell card. So you don't even need to search for a Madolche field spell. You can actually search for a secret village of the spellcasters. And I can see that Danique had a lot of good games versus Runic this weekend, where he actually set that up turn 1 and had a pretty good time because the Runic players were not able to activate any spell cards at all.
I thought you would play this in the main deck because, I mean, many decks rely heavily on spell cards right now. And I think this could win you lots of game 1s.
Definitely does.
It would have really helped here as well.
True. Also, you side taking 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. One of the most generic going first cards you will ever see.
To see this card again.
And you see it so much, though. Like, so many players are actually relying on this. This format is so new. Basically, the new list is in effect for 1.5 weeks now, or maybe even 2 weeks. And it's always good to go for such a generic, such a general card at the beginning of a format where you don't really know what's going to happen. So it's great to have a card that's good versus everything going first. So I definitely agree on that choice. Let's see whether that card is now in the main deck. Players are ready to go for game number 2. So let's bring it on.
So game 2 is starting. We are back immediately. The players are waiting for the signal of the judge so that they can start. Now we will see if Danique decided to start again. And it kind of looks like it.
Yes, for sure. He's the one shuffling his card, looking through his cards, and he has the Patting Sir again.
Best card to start with, the Patting Sir.
Patting Sir. You're a really connoisseur. You know all the names better than I do. And
And
there's the impermanence on it.
And I think this makes just sense.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. This card special summons a monster from the deck immediately, and it's a pass. It's a set too.
You know what? Impermanence is so crazy because it plays around triple tactic talents, and I saw that card in Danique's hand, so he played around it perfectly there, and maybe this is even one of the 2 set cards he has there. And there's Double Jet on the side of Michael.
Double Jet again. Double Jet searching out for probably the starter, so we can actually see a repetition of the first game again, where he goes into Cavalry and just attacks over the Patting Sir.
Yep, and once again, shaking the head on the side of Danique. He's not happy about this situation.
Yeah,
Both
we
games.
actually know that he wanted to have a featured match for a while now, and yeah, this is not how he planned it.
Yeah. Before the round, he was talking to us. He was saying, I did everything I could to come to that point, being X1 with this deck, so I really deserve it now. And we agreed, definitely. He definitely deserved that. I mean, even if he would lose here, he wouldn't be out of the tournament yet, because those guys are X1, and they're probably safe to top with X2, so even the loser of this will still have a shot competing in tomorrow's rounds of Swiss. So,
and have you seen the rest of Michael's hand there?
No, I haven't. Tell me about
and
it.
DD Crow, starter that he searched, and another card that I haven't seen yet.
Looks like Nibiru. I think I saw Nibiru as well. So he's like all the hand interactions which can hit his opponent. There comes the Zeus. And I think this time he might even have a Zeus. Oh, there's another prominent, and it's just resolved. He even gets to hold one of the Zeus negates, so he has one more Zeus negate for the next turn.
Okay, so Michael actually activates the start, and I'm not sure I'm agreeing on that, because you could just, with that many hand traps, with Nibiru, with Ash, and with Crow, you could just chill for a minute.
You could, and maybe you should, because you don't really want to commit cards to the field right now, because there is Zeus on the field, and you want to rather wipe the whole board and don't hit that many cards of yourself with that. But Michael is still resolving your Sprite starters, summoning out blue, and searching for Sprite Carrot right there. I think he doesn't even want to resolve the effect of Zeus again. He just sets up a big board here. He just wants it to be enough. And worst case scenario, you also have to use the Zeus. But I think he just wants to set up a regular board here and have that Zeus on top of it.
Like, if he had one more monster, I would have understood, because then he could set up Toad and Elf.
Yep.
This way he just sets up Elf and summons back a red, I think, and this is not too impressive, even though he can just summon back the blue with the Elf, so he's not really losing anything.
Yeah, he gets the resources back to his hand, so I think it's definitely alright. It's alright, it's back to Danique. Let's see whether he has a way to come back. His first turn was not too impressive, but maybe his second is more so. 4 cards in hand. I think I see another Patting Sir, and there's still no monsters. Yep, so he can special summon it out for free.
And now there is going to be a crazy interaction, because Ash Blossom was used, and now triple tactic talents can be activated, and it can not only draw cards, it can not only look at the hand of your opponent. Oh, Carrot is immediately being special summoned.
Which
to play
is
around
really
the triple
good,
tactic
yeah.
talents. Wow, very good.
Michael is playing great here. He's thinking about everything very, very calmly, and he is actually summoning out the Sprite Carrot there. And there is the triple tactic talents I saw in the opening hand of Danique, and we are instantly negating with Sprite Carrot.
Tributed. And now that is the handshake. He really needed that to go off. Michael wins over Danique with 2-0 and advances to day 2 of the tournament.
And he not just advances, he advances with a score of X1.
Yeah.
So he's actually very much at the top of the playing field still. He's one of very few players only having 1 loss. So he can definitely go into day 2 with a little bit of comfort, honestly.
He is on top of the competition right now.
He can allow himself a loss tomorrow, which is a comfort zone which not a lot of players have left in the tournament.
We don't know how the top cut will be built, like with which score or how many points you will get in. But this sounds like he can even afford maybe 2 losses.
Potentially
really
even that, yeah, for sure. Because we have so many players this weekend, it's going to be top 64. We're also playing 12 rounds of Swiss, so this was the last round of Swiss today, but we're still having more rounds tomorrow. Exactly, we're going to have 3 rounds more. So 12 rounds of Swiss in total, so probably, as you are saying, we are going to have a couple of X3s getting into the top cut as well.
Yeah, but I mean, he shouldn't be too relaxed about it, honestly.
Yeah.
You really have to feel a little bit of pressure. You can't go into day 2 and be like, yeah, I can lose 2 of 3 games. Let's just lose 2 of 3 games. And then
that's true.
Maybe you will lose all 3.
Okay, I have 2 questions to you now. So the first question is,
yes,
Madolche did not really perform that well right here. But how do you like the general decision of picking such a cool OTK deck for this event right here, right now?
Okay, so most of these rogue decks that, I mean, we didn't really see an OTK here, or an attempt even.
Not really.
Most of these decks profit heavily from Dimension Shifter, and I think this is a great call for the format. However, there are so many players on Sprite right now, and Sprite doesn't even necessarily rely on Toad. So before that, Shifter was great against Sprite because they couldn't set up the Totally Awesome. Now they don't even want to set up the Totally Awesome anymore. I think we haven't seen one all weekend from Sprite.
Nope.
So this card doesn't really do anything anymore versus the best deck in the format, possibly. So I don't really think that it's the perfect choice for the tournament.
Okay, I think that's a pretty good answer. And the other question that I have. We saw Adventure Sprite for the first time this weekend.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of Sprite Runic before that. How do you like the 2 decks in comparison? What do you think makes the Adventure Sprite maybe a better pick than Sprite Runic, or do you think it's just worse than the Sprite Runic deck?
I think the Adventurer Sprite has a battle phase.
True. Okay, that's a plus. That's a plus for sure. We take those.
The deck can end games a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And it does not really give the opponent a chance to get back into the game again sometimes.
True.
So I think that is an upside. Also, you have the Illegal Knight, which plays through boards quite heavily, and you have a really good board that you can set up. You don't really lose to cards like Cosmic Cyclone. There are downsides to the Runic Sprite deck. However, I think the Runic Sprite deck is a lot more consistent.
Yeah, I think I will add one more plus point to the Adventure Sprite deck. Actually, playing Water Enchantress makes Swap Frog a lot better because you now all of a sudden again have good discards for Swap Frog. So this actually works a whole lot better together. And this is like the one version next to the Live Twin version that can actually really consistently put out Totally Awesome, which is pretty cool. What also is pretty cool is that we are now done for the day. So the 2 of us are saying goodbye to you because that was our last featured match for the day, but there's still one more winners interview to be had, so please, Ad, take it away with that right now.
Hello guys, yes, I am here with the winner of the final round of today's coverage. First of all, congratulations. So you're now 8 wins, 1 loss?
Yeah, that's my understanding, yeah.
And how do you feel being this far into the competition, this late in the day? Were you able to keep composed throughout that duel? You seem to.
Yeah, the last couple of rounds have been pretty good. I was very focused on the rounds, especially last ones, because there's like no real noise going on in the venue. There are like so many players that have already gone away, so that was pretty good. Yeah, what was the first half of the question?
Don't worry, we'll move on to other questions. So what was it like going up against Madolche? Were you expecting that to be something that you were facing throughout the weekend?
I was not expecting it, but I knew what the deck did, so I kind of knew how to play around some certain things. I knew what to kind of interrupt, what they are going to do, so that was pretty much how I managed to play through most of the things.
You were building some incredibly intimidating fields for him to have to deal with. Like you had Zeus's quite a lot, lots of different things that you were dealing with. I mean, you guys had to play around Dimension Shifter's effect for a couple of turns as well. So how long have you been using this deck for? Because you seem to know it very well.
So this is probably like the second tournament, except the locals on Wednesday, that I've actually played this Adventure Sprite deck. I've played the Sprite deck ever since the European Championship, so it's been how many months now? Like 3?
Yeah, 2 or 3, yeah.
2 or 3 months I've been playing the Sprite deck now, and this is like a new version for me. I actually was set on playing T-Element with the Adventure cards because I felt like that was a pretty good deck because Adventure cards were very good, but I couldn't get the field spells in time. So I had to like go back to something that I felt comfortable with. So I just picked Sprite, and that's just how I ended up here.
And it's clearly worked for you because you've come this far. So is there anything that you're not looking forward to going up against in those final Swiss rounds that maybe might push you out of top cut or anything?
I don't want to play against some mine decks that have only mine as the win condition. Yeah, that's it. And Eldritch probably. Those are probably some of the decks that I don't want to play against. And yeah, no, that's just it. They're just annoying to play against.
Well, it's been a very long day. You've done incredibly well. Congratulations on winning this round. I hope the rest of tomorrow goes well for you. So guys, that is going to be it from us today for the coverage. But remember, we are back in just over 10 hours, I believe, so that we are back with a whole other day of the last 3 rounds of Swiss and all of the top cut matches. And we'll see who's going to be taking home the title here at the Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series in Utrecht. I've been Ed Templar, I've been your host for tonight. Thank you very much to everyone who's been watching. Thank you to my wonderful commentary team as well, who've been smashing every single round that they've been talking over for you. But this has been great. Have a good night, and we'll see you in the morning.